Stand in front of a medieval cathedral and look up. Really look. The roof doesn't just rise, it lunges toward the sky, sharp and defiant, as if daring gravity to pull it back down. In places like Notre Dame Cathedral, the pitch is so steep it seems almost irrational. Why would medieval builders, working with hand tools and fragile timber, choose to build roofs that looked ready to slide off their own walls? Was it arrogance, faith, or something far more practical? Here's the paradox. Those towering, knife-edged roofs weren't acts of architectural vanity. They were survival machines. In an age without modern insulation, steel reinforcement, or snowplows, these roofs were engineered to battle nature itself. Snow, rain, wind, rot, and even fire were constant enemies. It was the result of centuries of trial, collapse, and hard-won knowledge. To understand why medieval roofs were built so steep, you have to step into a world where winter could destroy a village overnight, and a poorly designed roof meant certain ruin. Travel back to medieval Europe, to regions like Scandinavia or the high valleys of the Alps. Winters there were not inconveniences. They were threats. Snow accumulated not in inches, but in crushing, suffocating feet. Early wooden homes with shallow roofs quickly revealed a harsh truth. Snow doesn't just sit quietly. It compacts. It freezes. It becomes dense, heavy, almost stone-like. Roof beams snapped. Entire halls caved in during the night. Communities learned the hard way that flat or gently sloped roofs were invitations to disaster. Meanwhile, as towns expanded and cathedrals rose in cities like Chartres, builders refined their techniques. The Gothic period pushed verticality everywhere, not just in spires and arches, but in roofs. Yet the dramatic steep pitch wasn't only symbolic of reaching toward heaven. It was brutally practical. Timber was precious. Rebuilding after collapse wasted resources and labour. So carpenters studied how snow behaved, how rain flowed, how wind struck a structure. Over generations, an unspoken rule emerged. The harsher the climate, the sharper the roof. What began as necessity slowly evolved into an architectural language recognized across Europe. If you're enjoying the content, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned. Imagine you are a medieval carpenter. You stand on a wooden frame with no safety harness, no power tools, only an adze and your instincts. You know snow is your greatest enemy. So you increase the pitch. But why does that work? Picture snow landing on a steep surface. Gravity immediately pulls it downward. On a shallow roof, snow settles, layers, compresses, and grows heavier with each storm. On a roof pitched at 50 or 60 degrees, the snow struggles to grip. It slides off before it can accumulate dangerously. That simple shift in angle transforms the entire load dynamic of the building. The weight transfers downward along rafters into thick stone walls, instead of pressing straight down on a flat span. And then there's rain. In medieval towns without gutters, water had to escape quickly. A steep roof accelerates runoff, preventing leaks and rot. Builders even overlapped wooden shingles like scales, so water travelled step by step, never penetrating. Wind, too, played a role. Surprisingly, steep roofs can reduce uplift because wind flows upward and over rather than pushing flat against a broad surface. It wasn't magic. It was physics, discovered through centuries of watching what failed and refining what survived. You might think steep medieval roofs are relics of a superstitious past, but look at modern alpine homes or Scandinavian cabins today. The principle remains identical. In heavy snow zones, architects still design high-pitched roofs for one reason. It works. Even contemporary building codes in mountainous regions echo medieval wisdom. Beyond snow, there's an overlooked lesson about passive design. Medieval builders had no HVAC systems. They relied on geometry. Steep roofs created large attic spaces where rising heat could gather, acting as insulation for the rooms below. You know how heat naturally rises. That empty space beneath the peak trapped warmth in winter and allowed ventilation in summer. Today, as we rethink sustainable architecture, some designers revisit these old forms. In a world facing extreme weather due to climate change, the medieval mindset feels surprisingly modern. Instead of fighting nature with machines, they shaped their buildings to cooperate with gravity, wind, and water. The steep roof becomes a symbol of resilience. It reminds us that sometimes the smartest innovation isn't new technology, but rediscovered wisdom hidden in plain sight above our heads. So the next time you see a cathedral roof slicing into the sky or a mountain chalet crowned with a dramatic peak, remember this. It isn't just aesthetic drama. It's accumulated memory. It's centuries of builders whispering to the future, telling us what survives winter and what doesn't. Medieval roofs were built steep enough to defy nature because they had no choice. Nature was relentless. Snow crushed, rain rotted, wind tore, and instead of surrendering, they adjusted an angle. That single geometric decision protected families, preserved sacred spaces, and saved entire communities from collapse. There's something humbling in that simplicity. In an age of complex engineering, we sometimes overlook the power of basic physics and careful observation. The steep roof stands as a reminder that design is dialogue with the environment. When we listen closely, structures endure. When we ignore those lessons, history repeats itself in broken beams and flooded foundations. If you've ever wondered how ancient builders achieved such lasting strength, look up. The answer has always been above you. And if this story changed the way you see the skyline, keep exploring. There are more forgotten secrets waiting in stone and timber. If you're enjoying the content, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned